Hello, and once again, welcome to Gup Shup or Kuch Seekh. Gup Shup or Kuch Seekh is my way of saying thank you to all those people who have inspired me in my journey of life. Till now, we have met around 18 people. Few were my mentors, few have been my colleagues, and few have inspired me. And I so wanted you people to know them, to meet them, and see how humble they are, how grounded they are. Now, today's guest is somebody who's from Canada. Now, why does she inspire me? Long story, but let me tell you something which is, I'm sure you'll be able to relate with this, and which is very evident and will be very evident when you see her talking. She's somebody who knows what she wants to do in her life. She's somebody who smiles in spite of having a lot of pain, in spite of having issues at the workplace. She is the one who knows how to balance life, work, and personal both. And she is the one जो इंडिया से जाके कनाडा में सेटल हुए और अभी तक अपने कंट्री को नहीं भूले हैं. But yes, she proudly calls herself as a Canadian Indian. But she celebrates all the festivals of India. She often visits India, and she's not forgotten her roots. And I literally get inspired when I talk to her, when I see her doing some fabulous work. Let me invite Miss Chetna Desai. Hi, Chetna.
Hi, Didi.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
All good, all good. Long time, Chetna. I guess 5.5 months to 5.5 to 6 months.
Yes, it's a
Right?
very
Yes.
long time.
But friends, even if we are meeting after a long time, we are connected. And we are connected in a way that बीच बीच में कभी WhatsApp तो हो ही जाता है, एक दूसरे को पूछ ही लेते हैं, are you doing good? Is all okay with you? Is everything okay at your end? And you know what, friends, that also matters a lot, because that's how you are related with somebody, you're connected with somebody. So let me officially introduce Ms. Chetna Desai to you. So Chetna Desai is an educationist, academic advisor, public speaker, parent coach, licensed interpreter and translator. She's the founder and CEO of Shabd Pratna, Canada, and founder and MD of the Education Counselor INC and executive director at Street Canada. She's a fellow parenting expert. Yes, we both have done multiple videos together on Parent Tales talking about what is parenting and how can you make the journey of your parenting along with your little ones easy and memorable. And Chetna, we have conducted many live discussions, as I just mentioned, even on child and parent bonding and parenting per se. I welcome you, Chetna, to Gup Shup or Kuch Seekh.
Thank you, Ruti.
As a matter of ritual, Chetna, there's going to be a rapid fire round, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. Try to make it as fast as you can in the replies I'm talking about. So the first question is, 5 things people don't know about you as an individual.
That I'm actually very easygoing, flexible. I'm fun-loving. I am very well versed with Canada and India.
Absolutely.
So I'm not, about just one culture. I love the both, and I'm very proud to be that I've been able to assimilate both culture. I'm a good friend to have.
I'm sure, and I've experienced that.
And I love children of all ages. And I think, although it's evident, sometimes people don't realize that they think that, it's a work related, but actually to love the work, I have to love the children. And children inspire me, and children continue to inspire me for my journey.
Absolutely lovely. Chetna, 4 things that are most dear to you.
My roots, what I came from, that's one thing. Family matters a lot. The country I live in is extremely close to my heart, and my friends and people around me of all ages who I live my life with. I take, I just find that I only know 0.0001% of everything I do. Everything else I learn from others.
Wow, lovely. 3 things that we find on your bedside table that Chetna Desai और ये अलग नहीं हो सकते हैं. What are those 3 things?
Aroma oils and candles.
I thought as much.
Skin oil, aroma oils are one thing. A book, nighttime read is a must for me, and music.
Ay, shabash. 2 things you're very passionate about.
All the work I do, and every single day is a new day for me. So I'm passionate that I have today, I have this moment, and how do I make most of it?
Lovely. Chetna, one thing which you always wanted to do, but somehow up till now you've never been able to do that. What is that?
My God, I have a list. It's called Unlearn, and I have actually lots of items there. But if one thing I can do is write a book. I think, having lived in 2 countries and 2 cultures, there is a lot that can be shared with the world. I think it's also, sometimes I feel it's a moral responsibility that age and stage of our life that we are in, we have a lot to give back. Writing a book has been on my mind, but I haven't been able to do it yet.
I wish you do that. As soon as possible, and all support to you, all good wishes to you. So friends, itne se hi aapko pata chala hoga na that actually there's so much to learn from her, so much to understand when she talks about 2 different cultures. And abhi to I'm going to talk about some serious things wherein you will understand that why she inspires me. Yeah. Chetna, from becoming economics to social science to mentor to coach, what inspired you?
Back when I was learning, I always wanted to do some kind of a social work or psychology, but at the time, it was not as not as encouraged. So I went with the path that was sort of chosen for me, and I made most of it. And then I left India at a very young age. At 21, I left India, and I went to Africa, and then UK, and then to Canada in span of 5 years. And one thing I started noticing is that, having come from India, we had this myth of cultures and communities. When I opened my mind, I realized that we as people, as human beings across the world are same. We are all trying to do the same thing differently, but we still want the same end result. We all want the same. So I realized that, if we can bridge that gap, and if we can bridge that, elevate our understanding about each other, it makes us better people. Doesn't matter where you live. See, country and borders doesn't create us. We as a human being have a choice of who we want to become, and where we live. What we do is secondary. It's who we want to be. Doesn't matter where you live. So so that foundation years in academic interest, and then in Canada, what I found is that, nobody decides, or in Western world, I think, Riddhi, I would say nobody chooses for you what you want to do. The paths are so wide open, and you are welcome on any path. You are not, labeled that you are a commerce graduate, so you can't do this. There is always that overcrossing and overlapping, and there is an acceptance. So I think this was an opportunity for me to go into an environment that fulfilled what I want to do, explore what specific and what niche can develop. And I think, so it's a journey, it's not an immediate outcome, but I think I was placed when I started, in the education environment. In fact, when I was in UK, I studied to be an optician.
Wow.
And all the exams also. But I realized that that was just a degree for me. And while I was working, I was okay, but it was not so much for me. Coming to yeah, Canada and having children and experiencing the education, I realized that this is the voice that's speaking to me. This is the work that speaks to me. And then that was the rest was the history. I volunteered while my kids were young so that I get to know, what's there for me to learn. Volunteering allowed me to then really be, it's such a broad field, go towards where I thought that I would be a good fit.
Wow, how wonderful is that? Lovely. Chetna, you are a Canadian, and you always talk about that whichever country you are in, you need to adjust to that place, right? But you have your roots in India. What is that one thing which you miss about India?
When early on, I used to miss a lot family, friends, that, that hush hush of India, that informal people can come in at any time, the doorbell keep ringing, there's a traffic and all this noise and just simple cultural and celebrations and everything. When I would, I always give this example that every time I would leave India, I'll have 10, 15 minutes, 10, 15 people at the airport seeing me off. I would land at airport and there's one lonely guy picking me up. That's my husband. And that's a stark contrast that you would immediately fear. Then I realized that it's also all in our mind. We can develop that even here. So we had family and friends. So I said, okay, so what am I missing? I'm missing cultures. I'm meeting the celebrations. So there were two things. I started celebration for Diwali, for example, on a New Year's or Diwali day. I would have lots of family and friends. We would do rangoli, we would do diya. If there were two things in it, it would introduce my children to the just basic culture. And this is not about imposing. We should celebrate it as a fun and not that, oh, do this
Absolutely.
as a mandatory, but as a
Absolutely.
fun part. If we're going to do Christmas, let's also talk about Diwali. And so I started this ritual, and we would have tons of people, and it became, it lasts, for last 15, 20 years, it has been on. So it just gives a reason to celebrate. In fact, I'll give you an example. Rangoli is, we look at it, Rangoli, we tie to Diwali. But because I was in education field, I realized that what is Rangoli? It's a symmetrical pattern. So I talked to the teacher in kindergarten and grade 1. I said, well, can we not tie this to an activity? It had so many things. Math, because it is, you count the dots. Art, there's a cultural awareness. Other children from different culture are learning about it. And I would say a short story in 5 minutes about Diwali. And it
And
became
there
an
is a
activity.
mind-body connect happening as well, because when you use the colors in your hand, right, and you are concentrating on something. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
even the fine motor skills are better.
Fine motor skills. And for little ones, for 4 years old, teachers were even smarter. They did a little bit of glue, and then kids would just throw colors and it would still create the pattern. So it's everything we've inherited. We have two choices. We make it traditional, compulsion, hard on our children, or we give them the choice that this is what we do. You can interpret it the way you see it, right? When we put it on them, they are thinking, they are implementing, and they're talking about it.
Absolutely.
So I made that a ritual at our school, at my children's school. You know,
Lovely.
so so I think so. And I tell you, Canada is so very well accepting of the culture and all this diversity that it became a learning as well as a knowledge. So I
Lovely.
feel that when we come to a new country, our responsibility is also there to, if we want to take pride and if we want to talk, we believe that we've come from a very strong, sensible roots, we show the right ways of doing it. I don't believe that if I wear sari every day is a reflection of my root, but it's what's inside of me is my roots.
I
And
understand.
and what we need to do is see, when you come with one foundation, strong foundation, 20 years in one country and growing up, you have come with a strong foundation. When you come to the new country, you need to put layers on it, not drop what you have.
Yes.
And that where the growth is. And I thank my parents for giving me that growth mindset which I carried. It is absolutely to my, that credit goes to my parents for raising us in such a way that I respected what I had, but I came with a very open mind to assimilate well, to accept well, and be accepted well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Chetna, we both have been doing multiple videos on parenting. All right.
Yes.
I come from a background of psychology. You come from a background of experience, and your coach, you being a coach, right? What do you feel and what do you believe? Which style of parenting, the old Indian traditional way of parenting, or the current Indian one, or the Canadian one? Which style of parenting you feel are most impressing people, or is kind of people are, kind of inculcating, and you are impressed with any one particular style of parenting? And also, I understand that it's not here to judge any of the parenting style, because each parent is right, every parenting style is right, right? There are no right and wrong, but I just wanted to understand that which is the most efficient, while you have been into Indian culture and the Canadian culture both, and you talk about it. So what do you feel?
See, today, we have our cultural influences in parenting, no matter where we are. But today, I think as a society, we have become, which I always say in our parenting seminar, we are global community now. There is so much exposure, not only to the parents, but also to the children. I think parents need to be very consistent in what their views are. What is, I rather than saying that Indian or Canadian or anything, not having that consistency of expectation of them as a parents and of children as growing up in this global society is where the gaps are. And Rhyti, I think sadly, the more tools we have, the more resources we have, the gaps are widening.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that is because we as adults have not decided exactly what we want. We are influenced by all the wrong, I don't know if it's the right word to say that, wrong elements or wrong surroundings. But if we are clear, look, we are Indian. I don't think that you can override those values to become international, right? Because you cannot take it away from us, right? So I think we need to have a balanced Indian foundation. What is Indian foundation? Very supportive families, close-knit families, support to the children, guiding them is very Indian. What I like about Canadian, giving children a choice, having open dialogue, having children having their voice. Our children have voice in all the wrong things sometimes. And I see this, I visit India very often. Children in India are, sometimes I find that, because parents are trying to be good parents, it becomes an entitlement.
Yes.
Instead of entitlement, give them a choice, give them a mind to think. If child is demanding something, ask them, do you really need it, right? In here, there is always children have to earn. And I'll give you a simple example. My son was in grade 7 and they were doing an Europe tour. So in grade 6, 1 year before, principals and the guidance counselors, and they did a meeting with parents. And the first thing they said is that we want your children to participate. International travel is a huge experience, but we don't want you to send your children because you can afford it or you're going to save money and say, do it because your children have earned that trip. So between now and next year, you need to make rules, you need to have chores, you need to have some expectations set and make sure your children fulfill that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Life skills, our responsibility to teach life skill is more crucial, which happens in Western culture. In India, we think that 11-year-old, 10-year-old, 12, bicharo, he's bicharo, he's young, iske paas kya kaam karwana. That is not the way to do it. So I think if we can amalgamate these two values, I think we will be highly successful families of parents.
Amazing. Amazing. I often see on social media you writing beautiful poems and talking or hosting talk shows in Gujarati. And that I see on Shabda Pratna. What is Shabda Pratna all about?
So Shabda Pratna is our, a Gujarati language platform literature. So it is art and music and literature all. Why did I think of Shabda Pratna? Having worked with education system for 18, 20 years, I constantly felt that immigrant families have struggles, have challenges. Like it is, and it's not uncommon when you go to new country. The most ignored lot were the children. Even though parents settle, that disconnect still happens with the mainstream Canada to the house. They're almost living two different lives.
Absolutely.
So children are fine. Children are very resilient. Children adapt, and children are very good. The parents, when they don't connect, children have the disadvantage of it. It's silent. It is not spoken about. It is not said about. So what I felt is that I want to connect with the parents so that they then connect with the children. Our language is the best bond. So Gujarati and the language, or whatever the native language is, was a good tool. The native language was a good tool to communicate what I wanted to convey. So, we've talked about challenges of change. We've talked about, transitions. We've talked about what two cultures look like and what today's time look like. I felt that if we bring parents up in that level of understanding, also, Riddhi, there is a lot of myth about Western culture.
Yes.
So much myth about that, oh, everything is bad and everything we do is good, and which is far from the Western people, Canadian people, American people, English people, also very family oriented, also very caring, also very, there are so many things I can go on and on. In fact, I feel that I'm so glad I had a lot of Canadian people, Canadian friends, and I feel that if I'm slightly better person, it's because of my Canadian friends. If I'm slightly better human being, it's because they keep me grounded. They teach me humility, and they teach me that success is to share and not to just always celebrate and flaunt about, So you don't flaunt and you talk about. So that there is a lot of that humility. But with parents having authors, really we've had a Canadian and Gujarati author speak on the same topic.
Amazing. Wow. How was the experience?
It was excellent. It was excellent. It took people time to open their mind to it, because for us, entertainment is, the drama, the fun, the party, the music. This was a different type of entertainment. This was not our so-called, that loud, noisy. So, but having, 600-700 people sit down and listen to this, I feel that I have done little bit of what I believe in.
Awesome.
So I feel that, again, using our language, a lot of our culture, and comparing that, we are very similar people, everybody's doing. So don't underestimate anybody or overestimate anybody. Strike the balance, enjoy the new country you are in. Country has accepted you, you accept their values, retain what you have. And so I think to benefit children, I felt that I had to really talk to the parents, and that's how Shabda Pratna came into existence. And
beautiful, beautiful. Lovely. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps. Amazing. Parting lines, Chetna, for all those who are listening to us today.
Be yourself. You should know how much influence is good influence. Somebody can inspire you, somebody can motivate you, but you yourself are a huge source of energy, knowledge, and impart what you have, give what you can, whether it is time, whether it is knowledge, whether it is, and most importantly, I think, invest in yourself to serve everybody around you better.
How beautiful. Friends, I hope now you could understand it, why I get inspired when I talk to Chetna. Because there are few things which, I have imbibed in my life. And being a psychologist, I have been preaching the same things to my clients, my little clients, and my child also, his upbringing. And there's a few things which Chetna talks about. And I see that each parent, if they start inculcating this in their life and in their journey of parenting, I'm sure this journey of parenting would be very beautiful. And each individual, if you start understanding yourself, if you start believing in yourself, if you start accepting yourself, your journey of life can't be more satisfying, more beautiful than what you envisage to do. So I'm sure now even you are going to follow her. So I'm going to put her social media handles in the comment section, and do connect with her if you can resonate with her thoughts. And if you're a Gujarati, do follow Shabd Prathna. There's a lot of discussion that happens, and I love reading the posts there. Some beautiful poems, some beautiful thought process of few people, and some wonderful parent discussions. So don't forget to follow, and I'll put social media handles in the comment section, and do connect with Chetna. Thank you so much for watching us. And one more last round of Gup Shup or Kuch Seekh is left. When I say round, is the last episode. And that's all. There are just 20 people who have inspired me in my journey of life. And Chetna has been one of them. And you've met rest of them. So probably on the last day, I might get all the panelists or all the people who have inspired me in one panel discussion, and we might make it more interesting for you. Till then, thank you. Stay happy, stay smiling, and stay connected. Thank you, Chetna, once again for being at Gup Shup or Kuch Seekh.
Thank you.